Rex Deus believes they are descendants from the dynasty of King David and are predestined by their god, Lucifer, to rule the world. Rex Deus claims to have lineages from ancient Judah and the lost tribes of Israel. They preserve two sacred bloodlines that are inclusive of all the other branches, the first from Moses and Aaron and then through David and Jesus, whose alleged descendants will establish the imposter kingdom of God on earth. Children of Jesus. Jesus and Mary Magdalene are said to have at least 2 sons and 1 daughter. One son was transplanted to Britain with Joseph of Arimathea, the man who collected the dead body of Jesus and provided a tomb for him, while the other immigrated to southern France with Mary Magdalene. Mary Magdalene is first introduced in Luke as one of the women Jesus cured from diseases or evil spirits. She then ministered to the needs of Jesus out of gratitude from her own private means, suggesting Mary's family must have held some wealth. It was to Mary Magdalene that Jesus appeared first on the Sunday of his resurrection. Mary waited until the dead body of Jesus was removed from the cross and taken to the tomb owned by Joseph of Arimathea. Gnostics believe Mary was Jesus' secret wife, the one who anointed Jesus at Bethany and one who possessed secret knowledge that exceeded Peter. Atlantean Queen. The unexplained title Magdalene is not defined, but according to Ungers, Magdalene was chosen by biblical authors to distinguish Mary Magdalene from the other Marys recorded. Magdalene suggests Mary came from a city on the southwest coast of Galilee. According to Frank Joseph, Magdalene may also be a normative derivative directly linked to an antediluvian people who coexisted with the Atlanteans in a civilization known as Magdalenians. The Magdalenians crossed the land bridge to Europe circa 14,000 B.C.E., where they became known as the Magdalenian culture, famous for its colorful Ice Age cave paintings located in France and Spain. Magdalenian culture of prehistoric France was a follow-up of the Atlanteans. The sons produced from the marriage were separated to secure their safety, ensuring the continuation of the Grail bloodline. The first son was Jesus II. Mary and Jesus were reunited after years of separation in 36 CE, whereby Jesus II was born in 37 CE. According to Gardner, before separating and reuniting once more in 43 CE, leading to the birth of Josephus in 44 CE. Mary Magdalene and Jesus' sister Mary Jacob were recorded in the Acts of Magdalenas as traveling to Gaul in 44 CE. Mary then died in 63 CE. In 53 CE, Jesus too was proclaimed crown prince in Corinth, where he received the Davidic crown, the Davidum. Jesus too later traveled to Britain with Joseph of Arimathea, Glastonbury of law. Joseph arrived at Glastonbury with his adopted Grail son in 73 CE. Likely, this was where Jesus too was indoctrinated into the Druidic Mysteries. Jesus too was believed to have remained celibate. In Essene tradition, he did not continue the Sangreal, because of his celibacy. The second son, Josephus, then inherited the Grail heritage, becoming the new Davidum and dropping the Joseph title. He was educated in a Druidic college, settling eventually in Gaul. Third son. James, a third son, was entrusted to Judas Thomas Didymus, the twin brother of Jesus, while Jesus too was temporarily entrusted to Mary Magdalene, both who fled in opposite directions. Joseph of Arimathea funded the escape from the Middle East. He accompanied one of the children of the Grail, likely to England. The child under Joseph's care, in the beginning, must have been Josephus by virtue of simple deduction, even though Joseph later traveled in England with Jesus too. King of Edessa, modern-day Urfa or Turkey, greater than ancient Edessa, holds a hidden obscure history in this lore. James, a possible third son of Jesus, traveled to the city of Edessa with his uncle Judas. Ian Wilson writes that Edessa was the location the historical King Lucius of Grail kingship and law resided in, and where he was likely known historically as Lucius Aelius Abgar VIII of Edessa, guardian of the Edessa Shroud, Shroud of Turin. Edessa was located at the home of Hermetic thought, home of the Gnostic Sabians. Beauwonder Bouillon, brother of Godefroy de Bouillon, one of the founders of the Knights Templar and the crowned king of Jerusalem, was appointed the Count of Edessa. Baldwin le Bourg, cousin to Godfrey of Bouillon, succeeded Baldwin of Boulogne, Bouillon, as the Count of Edessa. Edessa was also the home of Bogomils, the precursors to the Gnostic Cathars in France that the Templars, Merovingians, Alon, Essenes and Scythians were all closely tied to. Third son James was recorded as dying in Spain without a successor. This, then, leaves us with Josephs to carry on the alleged royal bloodline as the Davidum. Josephs was supposedly born in 44 CE, he grew up in southwest Gaul. Through Josephs, most royal Grail bloodlines anchor themselves. Josephs married and then begat a son named Josue, through whom the Grail line passed down. Josue seems brother to Alan of France, and Josephs appears to have deliberately married into the royal Alan Scythian lineage. This makes Alan the same person as Josephs. The famous Fisher kings, the Merovingians, claim Josue as an important part of their priestly and royal descent. Fisher kings. Josue's brother, Alan, was the first modern Fisher king, the very same title that the Merovingians later held. The Merovingians further claimed descent from James, Joseph of Arimathea, the supposed brother of Jesus. But remember, Alan, likely son of Josephs and brother of Josue, was Joseph of Arimathea's nephew, thereby keeping both versions identical. Therefore, if Alan was indeed the son of Josephs, who was the son of Jesus, and Joseph of Arimathea was actually James, the brother of Jesus, Alan would have, in truth, been the nephew of Joseph of Arimathea and or James, no matter how you construct the genealogy, making both Josephs the same person. Holy Grail was believed to be the chalice containing Jesus' blood collected by Joseph of Arimathea at the crucifixion, whereas in Gnosticism, Joseph collected the messianic bloodline from the cross. But is not the real blood on female lineage, why no one talks about the female lineage of Jesus and Mary Magdalene?